Hi, everyone. Cole here with our Selkirk United Church midweek message for Wednesday, June 1st, 2022. Today, the sun is shining, the wind is just a breeze instead of a gale, and the temperature is sneaking back up to where it belongs at this time of year. What a year it's been. So many challenges for so many people. Tornadoes and high winds doing damage, roads and bridges out, homes and businesses flooded, farmers at a standstill worrying about their livelihood, many of their fields still underwater. And it's not just the weather, is it? War still raging in Ukraine, COVID-19 still among us, tensions in many parts of the world, and last week's tragic mass shooting in Texas, which follows so many other shootings, mass or otherwise, and so many other tragedies happening on this planet of ours. That one in Uvalde, Texas, though, seems to affect us even more when children are involved. And it makes me wonder, how many children will it take before different choices are made, before political agendas are set aside, before politics and the economy take a back seat to human life? We talked about this a bit at our online Sacrilegion gathering yesterday, not for long. The subject got shifted away from the main topic, and we ended up talking about lots of other things too, probably because it's just too difficult a topic for us. It weighs on us so heavy to spend too much time there. It's heartbreaking. Maybe our defense mechanisms kick in and our brains veer off course and direct us to something more positive, or at least a bit hopeful. That's okay. As long as we don't forget that we all have responsibilities to make choices in our lives, big choices and small ones too, that help to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. That everything we do matters, that all of our decisions and actions have an effect on all those around us, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, sometimes for the good, sometimes not so much. I know that we all know that. We talk about it in church all the time. We are the hands and feet of Christ and all that good stuff. But we need to be reminded of it again and again, I think, and especially in the face of so much that is wrong with the world, so much that hurts our hearts and scares us, makes us worry about the future for ourselves and for future generations. Especially then, we need to be reminded that everything that we do makes a difference, that we can each be a positive force for good in the world, and how important that is right now, as the forces of evil show their ugly face on the news each night. I was reading something a few days ago. It was an article in the latest edition of Gathering magazine, our United Church's worship leadership resource book. It had to do partly with children and partly with our role as disciples. I thought it was worth sharing, so let me read it to you now. This was written by Lydia Smith, who is the program coordinator for worship, music, and spirituality for the Gathering publication. Lydia starts by quoting the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 14, which says, "But when Jesus saw this, he was indignant and said to them, 'Let the little children come to me. Do not stop them, for it is to such as these that the kingdom of God belongs.'" And then she writes, "Recently, someone asked me if there was one accomplishment I was especially proud of. Easy. The 63% I got on my final sight reading exam for singing, which allowed me to pass the course and continue in my music degree. I took that 63%, put a sticker on it, and displayed it proudly on our dorm fridge. My classmates did not understand my pride. It was not a good mark. In my program, 70% was a pass for core subjects. For music subjects, 60% was a pass, and 61 was a pity pass. A 63 meant that you earned that grade all on your own. My roommate got 100 on that exam. Just memorize the notes, she would say to me. That won't work, I'd argue. It's the relationship between the notes that gets me. It was truly my best mark ever, even though there have been times when I literally received the best possible mark. Sometimes good is subjective. When I think about my own faith journey, I often wrestle with this question of good. How do I know that I am being a good Christian? What is a passing grade for discipleship? What is the marking rubric? And how much does it change in certain situations and contexts? We can all name markers of Christian success that have been shared or sold or told to us. Markers that we have strived towards and markers that we have weakened against. And as worship leaders, no matter the context, we are often expected to be at the top of the class. But I worry, good grades don't always mean good. When Jesus was asked to defend his ministry, he didn't present a polished rubric or report card. Jesus defended his ministry and proved his credibility through relationships. In the case of this beloved passage from Mark, Jesus literally centered children who, after women, were the most affected by the divorce customs that were being discussed prior to this infamous invitation to let the children come to me. And the children came to Jesus. In my imagination, the children trusted him, felt loved by him, and wanted to be with him. This was the only defense that Jesus needed. I am convinced that in the end, our credibility and impact as followers of Christ will not be a stunning report card highlighting the programs we ran, the grandeur of our acts of charity, or the glorious high notes of our ministries. Our credibility and impact will be measured by the relationships we have formed, whom we have broken bread with, whom we have reconciled with, and how the people who are most deeply affected by the brokenness of the world describe us and feel about us. It's not the sort of test we can ever pass on our own, because it is about relationships, the spaces between us. Thanks be to God. Lydia. That was from Lydia Smith in the latest edition of Gathering. May you all be blessed in the work you continue to do as disciples, and may you be a blessing to all those you encounter along your journeys. That's our midweek message for June 1st, 2022. Take care, everyone, and God bless.